Yo, what's up?
What's happening?
Welcome to the tezos-artcast. This is
man.
episode 27.
Jeez, 27.
I know the numbers keep getting larger and larger. Imagine triple digits.
Ooh. 101 has to be special.
What? Yeah, 101.
Yeah, 101 has to be a special episode.
Huh.
It can only be binary art. Just gonna call that out.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna call that out now.
Went right over my head. Awesome, dude. So if you're just joining us for the first time, the tezos-artcast is what you're tuning into, and we feel. I don't know why I said we feel, but what we do here is we just get people in here who are artists, musicians, game designers, and we get to know them, get to hear their stories, hear their music, see their art, find out what's their inspiration, and then also in the background of all that, how they're using NFTs and Tezos specifically to kind of pair with their work, or how they're using NFTs in their creative practice. So yeah, that's what we do. Welcome. We also do a little giveaway during our shows as well.
Yep.
And I'll be one of your hosts today. I'm PC84, aka Jeff.
And good times. I will be your co-host.
Yeah.
Your guide as we explore the art hidden in the Tezos jungle.
Yes. NFT Raider and Spoo are already in the chat. What's up, y'all?
Happening?
NFT Raider says, I'll prepare some black and white giveaway for episode 101. Mark my words.
Yo, don't make me make my own art too. I know I'm walking amongst gods, but I might have to.
If you shoot for the moon, at least you land on the star. Wait,
right? Even if you miss,
you know what I mean. Yeah.
Loving it.
Oh yeah, Spoo said 666. That'll be a special episode too.
Oh.
As will 777 because Vegas.
That's right.
But it's funny in the Puncto RPG, we are currently in hell. We wound up in hell after a portal opened, and it's been pretty crazy. But we're fighting a demon Boy Scout, and he's really hard to beat. So the dice rolls have not been in our favor the entire time we've been in hell, pretty much. And literally, the person, I don't remember exactly who, but somebody rolled a 6, and then I was next up to attack. I rolled a 6.
Nice.
And it was like, wait, now this, it would be pretty epic if it happened. And then Spoo comes in and rolls a 6.
Oh, snap.
It was serious.
Awesome.
And if Raiders asking if you play too.
I have not played lately, or I think I managed to get into look at one, and I just freaked out and I walked away, and I was working on a couple other projects. I've been dying to get into the story. Now we're in hell, and I think
you can jump in anytime.
I know it's calling to me. It's like, oh, we're in hell. We need 6s to get rid of this. Sure. I need to get in there.
Well, and now that you've got a little more active in Discord, I heard.
I am. I'm learning Discord from someone that knows what the hell they're doing. So I'm sorry,
awesome.
Guys. I like flying under the radar, but I'm missing some of the fun stuff now. So I'm like, all right. I'll come back into the social media stuff.
Right. You just gotta tailor it. If you don't know, if you're watching later, Puncto is a RPG card game on Tezos that was created by Flygor, a very familiar face for those who are watching the NFT space on Tezos, and one of our first guest on the Tezos-Artcast, gratefully enough. And he's responsible for our little logo. So we appreciate him for that. But yeah, really, really fun stuff, worth checking out. And while it's a limited pool of people being able to play at the moment, it'll eventually open up a little more. But he's got some other great projects. And anyway, check it out, punkdo.xyz, I believe. So I think the thing. Anyway, so yeah, your week's been good?
So far, so good. It's been this morning was a little hectic, like I was saying, just to get organized. But here we are. I made it in time.
Oh yeah, both of our dogs have been acting up for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there. It's the dog rebellion starts tomorrow, I guess.
Right. Meanwhile, you can see on the tip of my finger, there's this cat that just.
That's awesome.
Always just in the background there. She's just hanging out, looking out the window, pretending she's devouring birds.
That animal instinct.
Yeah, she used to be an outside cat, and she's probably 13 or 14. But just last year, before we ended up taking her in, we found her in the neighbor's yard, and we're like, "What has she got?" And she had a bird, and she was ripping its guts out. So.
Oh, metal.
Yeah, she's pretty metal.
I knew a cat that would bring iguanas back home in Florida. Not just tiny lizards, like full-size iguanas, which was disconcerting both to the iguana and myself. Like, how'd you get that thing in here? And the iguana's like, dude, I don't know what happened. I was minding my own business, and now here we are. So let's deal with it.
Yesterday, I saw a tiny little bunny rabbit on the 6th floor of the Paris Hotel parking garage.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
nature. One little pandemic and nature starts taking over.
Yeah.
Even the bunnies, the wild bunnies are out. That means, you know how sad that is. There's like packs of wild bunnies roaming around, just murdering people in parking lots.
It's Monty Python was more than just a comedy.
Yeah, it's a prophecy.
Yeah. With big pointy teeth.
That's awesome.
All right. So really stoked today to get into our guest. We didn't have a show last week, so we got a lot to catch up on. I'm excited to hear some tunes. We've had right on the side here one of this individual's creative pieces looping. Super cool lo-fi loop. Loving it. But yeah, so with no further ado, welcome, Fractal Vector.
Yo,
what's up,
guys?
It's going down.
Thanks for having me. I'm very honored. And let's get this show started.
Yes, definitely.
Should I introduce myself? Should I say something?
Yeah,
Please.
Absolutely. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and all that.
Okay. So my name is Pedro Kozovits, and I am an artist from Brazil. I think the most fundamental part of my work, I would say, like, it's diversity. I never get satisfied with what I'm doing, and I always try to learn new stuff and make new projects. But lately, I've been trying to focus more on things, right? But let me talk about a little about my journey.
Yeah.
I started my journey as an artist like way too soon, because I lived with my grandfathers, and there I had like a piano since I was like a little kid. That there was a piano, like not a keyboard, a real piano,
Right.
on my house, and most of the keys didn't work. They were like very old, so I had like a short space to learn the songs.
The scale, yeah.
Yeah, and I spent years like just playing this piano and thinking, wow, I wanted to play other instruments. I never thought I would be like a visual artist. I never thought I would work with 3D, with like digital music. I always, when I was a kid, I always thought I was going to be a musician, like that played a lot of instruments and played on orchestras and stuff like that. But when I got to 13 years old, I started like using some substance. Like I started smoking weed. I started like taking acid. I think
Mhm.
I took an acid before I had my first drink. And this like yeah, it's this is real. It was on the same day, but it was before.
Right.
And
Terrence McKenna would be proud of you.
oh yeah, I'm sure. I think this like unlocked a part of my mind that was very psychedelic. I got in love with psychedelic stuff, psychedelic visuals mostly. And this at this time I still was listening to classical music, to rock, to stuff that wasn't like psychedelic. Just rock is psychedelic as fuck, right? Pink Floyd,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
That's right.
Doors,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of psychedelic stuff in rock, but I didn't know like electronic psychedelic.
Yeah.
So from my 13 to my 17 years, I started like listening to new stuff, electronic music, electro, industrial, glitch music, glitch hop,
Yeah.
and I started to think I have to quit this instruments thing and start doing digital music, and this has been my road um, these past years. I quit my instruments. I still know how to play some things, but I prefer to do on the digital because I feel like I don't rely on anyone. I can do it all by myself. And
Right.
this is also something about myself that it's not really a good thing or a bad thing, just a fact. I love to do things on my own and to get things done because I feel like people when I involve someone else, it takes way longer to finish things.
Sure. Sure.
Okay,
I
and this is my okay. Say good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you have no idea. Like, welcome home. You are amongst your people.
I feel
We get along because we both do things the hard way. We already know the technology exists to do something, and you're like, no, no, we got to figure out from scratch. Let's start at the wheel, and then we'll work our way to faxing. We'll work our
yeah,
way to
it
Teams.
isn't working. It is not impossible. It's just not working.
Yeah,
That's my motto.
nice. I like it.
Yeah. So outside of the art space, my road has been like way too smooth on sometimes and way too rocky, too turbulent on other times because I started taking the drugs too soon. On my opinion, I should have waited more.
Yeah,
But
Right.
it all went down the way it should have had went down. So I'm
yeah,
here today.
that's right.
So I'm happy. But there were times that like I felt nothing was right, nothing made sense, and the only thing that got me out of this hole was music. It's not even visual art because sometimes doing visual art is it's not good for your mental health. But I don't feel like any time I did music, it didn't. It was good every time. It made me feel good every time. I could be producing like the saddest song ever, but it's like a relief, you know.
Right.
You get out of your chest. But the visual, I'm not like saying visual artists don't let it go on their visual pieces. I'm just saying personally, music is my way to get out. You know.
Right.
It has a different effect on you, is what I'm understanding. Like, music has a different effect than visual art does, and I feel like it seems like you you're more guided towards that, towards like the vibrational aspects, to the tunes, to all that stuff. You're more in tune with that. You're talking about taking acid at an early age, and I'll tell you again, you welcome home. Like I'm not gonna stop saying that today. I'm a huge nerd, and I believe that there's a spiritual aspect to this internet culture, right? I had someone call me an internet person and the other day, and I was like almost validated. I'm like, I am a person of the internet. I did grow up with it. I do have a persona that lives in that space that's completely separate from who I am, and it interacts with things in a different way, right? So I think it's really cool that you're bringing that up. That you're bringing that up. The it's almost like I'm gonna say spiritual, but it's almost like a spiritual aspect to creating stuff
Yeah,
in the digital space and putting it out there. It's you can paint something at home and you can have it there, right, and people will see it. But it's almost like mandalas. Like when Buddhist monks create mandalas, you create something and you know it's not going to disappear or dissipate or like just stop being. But once you put it online, it's like you sent it to a different reality, right?
yeah,
What happens to it is completely separate from what you want. It just does what it does,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Visual art is more open. It's like music is open to interpretation too, but
Yeah.
visual art is more open to the eyes of the viewer, because you can't like listen to a blues and say, yeah, that's a trance music. It's a
right,
blues. So and art has the visual art has this categorization too, but we are more open to interpretation. Like it's an abstract piece, but I see an insect, so I'm gonna share it and say, look at this awesome insect,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
the artist says this is an abstract piece.
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Okay,
Awesome.
but this time, this drug time, this leisure time, let's say it like that, this is over for me. Like I spent too much time of my life getting high and getting stoned out of my mind, and this doesn't fulfill anything no more. You know, I have experimented um, stuff you don't even imagine. You know, I just didn't use crack. I just didn't use like
Like
some
the
low
heavy stuff.
stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't judge. I also don't judge. I don't.
Right.
Just didn't look for it. But today I just smoke my weed. I smoke my cigarette and I work. Basically, this
Right.
is what this is what I do today.
When you get it out of your system early, it makes you. I feel like you start making some better decisions. If you pay attention, because similar path. I definitely was like drinking and shenaniganizing at an early age, and now it's like, all right, well, people are like, oh, let's go party. I'm like, I got better stuff to do, guys. I got
Yeah,
party. It's not that I don't wanna, but it's just like I feel
yeah.
like I
I
got that
can
out of my
play like
system.
Cinema 4D. I can play Blender. Why would
Yeah.
I play like League of Legends?
Yes, that's
Well,
awesome.
it's and I think just like growing as a person, like it's like I think the things a lot of times that we're looking for in like psychedelic experiences through substances um, are like validation, and it's not always like we're looking for something bigger than ourselves. I think um,
Yeah,
sometimes, sometimes it's about fitting in. Sometimes it's about looking for what's it all mean. And I think that after a while, like kind of realizing, well, it's not the drug, it's something outside of the drug, or it's something outside of the drug culture that I'm looking for. And
yeah.
and
It's my
growing as a
own
person.
realization. You know.
Right.
Any experience can provide a lesson.
Right.
And the thing with psychedelic experiences is that just like with abstract art, the lesson is very vague. It's up to you to understand what the lesson is. And so I think that's a really interesting thing. And that's what I think that's what attracted me specifically to like psychedelic stuff was the idea that it was like the conscious and the subconscious were coming together. To me, it was like, okay, there's stuff that I like, there's stuff that I think I like, but I might not, and there's stuff that has an effect on me that I'm not unaware of, you know.
Yeah.
And I found a reconciliation in those things, and what's good is that the lesson was learned, and now I can apply that without any psychedelics and stuff like that. I can go ahead and apply that to life. Like I said, to me, there's a very spiritual, interesting, like ethereal part of this whole entire digital thing that we kind of neglect to see. I see that there's a Buddha behind Fractal on a poster, and yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really interesting because the journey of the monk, of the Buddha, is to like go into the forest, right, and separate themselves from society and like learn to be with themselves, right. There's stories about monks that go out there and like they don't speak, since they're not speaking to anybody for 10 years. They're like basically start hearing their own, like instead of their own voice, they start hearing like noises, or seeing, there's no verbal communication, to start seeing things in a different way. And that's what they come back. They come, the monk is, or the journey is supposed to go into the forest and come back as a different person, come back changed with something new. uh, to me, that's like, there's your experience. You can't go do the Buddhist thing where you just disappear into the forest. What fucking forest? It's like,
Yeah, my forest, right?
yeah,
It's my
like
forest
our
right here.
forest is digital, right? We go into the
Yeah.
digital thing, and then we come back with something new. We come back as different people.
And I
Uh,
feel like psychedelics and spiritual, the
Yeah,
spiritual world are connected because we have like walls inside us,
yeah,
and these walls are not like, we are not born with these walls. These are created because we live in the 21st century,
right.
and these psychedelics like let us abstract for a moment from the digital, from the today,
Uh-huh.
and see things like more inside your head, in your human perspective of the individual, not on the collective.
Yeah.
When I smoked DMT with a friend. He said he went through a vortex and stuff just happened and he didn't understand anything. And I smoked like the same amount of him, uh, right next to him, and I had like, I'm not gonna say revelations, but I have like a consistent story to tell. I entered the vortex too, but there I saw my mom. I saw my mom holding my hand and pulling me through the vortex, and I saw bad things happening on my sides. It was like a journey for me. For him, it just was just like a vortex. I feel
Wow.
like this is connected by the mind. If you go with your mind, like 1,000 miles per hour, your mind is thinking about a lot of stuff. This is what you're going to see.
The
Okay,
entire
and
universe in our heads.
getting back to the artist view of the psychedelics,
Yeah.
this that unlocked on my mind. I feel like my ideas never ran out again. Like since I was 13 years old, I have a ton of ideas and I try to put them in practice. But I never felt like I had a space, an opening to show the world what I can do. So I just like gathered information, gathered experience, and never did anything with it. I have like over 300 finished tracks from like 20 different genres, and
Yeah.
I don't show them to anyone. I
Like,
actually
you,
made them to myself.
you're
I made
screwed
them
now, my
to
friend,
hear.
because I want to hear all of it.
You're gonna hear. I'm gonna play for you guys today a live DJ set I compiled with some songs I made. But it's like it's unusual because you won't hear like 10 musics of the same genre. It
Okay.
will go through the genres I'm currently doing, and there are loads I did before. Jeff showcased my first song, my song on the first mixtape
Yeah.
of the tezos-artcast, and it's a chip tune. But this mix doesn't have chip tunes because this is a secret. I'm going to tell the viewers now. I hate chiptune. I don't. I really don't like. When I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, I just want to get this done. When I start doing them, it's like cool. But once I'm listening to them, like for the third, fourth time, I'm just like,
right,
oh my god, I want to do something else. So
right.
these chiptunes, they are short. They are like 1, 2, 3 minutes, but they took longer than my 10-minute tracks because I always like pause for days before going and
Yeah.
but don't feel like I don't like I like the results. I just don't like doing the chiptunes.
Right. Right. It takes it's a lot of energy to put in to laying out. Now, I real quick, Spoo in the channel in the chat said referencing the internet person. I think Andy, or just in general, is your internet person different from who you are, or is it who you are without the masks you or we all put on in real life? I wanted to hear your takes on that.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like just the fact that I'm speaking English and it's not my native language already changes a little my behavior because I can't open myself like I could in my native language. But I mostly try to open myself and find the same lines of what I'm saying in Portuguese and what I'm saying in English. And when I can't do that, I try harder. I just stop when I can get my idea through. But I feel like on Twitter you have to be a little commercial. You have to sell yourself to this idea of people are collectors, not buyers. People are like my internet friends, not just random people or just met. And this stuff you have to build up. My friends, the people I consider my real friends, I have 4 or 5 friends, and they go back like years and years. And this was a constructed feeling. Years back, I didn't consider them my real friends. I just thought they were cool people, cool connections, cool people to be around, and this was kind of building up. So I feel like I want to be myself on the internet, but this is something that also has to build up. And since I'm not very used to social media that way that I'm using now, this will take a while before I can like transmit who I am in the internet. But I really don't try to hide who I am or to be someone else. Including I see a lot of people like create a new project and go full anonymous,
Sure.
But on my profile, the first thing I said, I say on my bio is like, I am also Ubiet Quando and Cybonari. I want to have disclosure with people, but this is not like being real. Having disclosure and transparency is not the same thing as being yourself, right?
Right.
I feel like I am myself on the like I'm being myself now. But when I'm around my friends, when I am walking here outside the computer and getting to know people, I feel like I still wear like masks, a lot of masks, because it's more convenient to wear a mask than to be yourself. It's scary to be.
It's scary to be yourself.
You already said I can feel at home, right? So you get when I say that I feel like an alien. When I'm walking, when I am meeting new people, I feel like wait a minute. What the fuck?
Why is it so easy for them?
Yeah.
How can they just live out here?
What the fuck?
I know, man. All right, so I'm gonna say I have a very very similar take on the whole entire thing. I will add one little bit. So I think that like we all wear masks, and I don't talk to my mom the same way I talk to my brother, the same way I talk to my dad, and then we're like the same in the same house. We were in the same house. We're the people that know each other the most, right? And the same thing. Different friends get different tonalities. Like I use different speech patterns. So the whole mask thing, yes. I felt like once I went online, 2 things happened. I tried to reconcile my online persona with my physical being, right? So my social media was supposed to sort of match, but because social media expects us to, as you're saying, there's a certain commercial aspect that expects us to sell ourselves. Then I knew that who I was portraying in social media wasn't really me. It was close to who I was. You could get an idea, but everything was inorganic.
Yeah.
So what I've learned, what my take, my going into the digital forest and coming back with something to show, like, hey guys, I learned something. What I have learned is that when you do go anonymous, and it takes a lot to go anonymous, right? It's not easy. When you do go anonymous, you can express that 100% truly who you are, but it won't matter at that point because no one is going to know that it's attached to you.
Yeah.
And so as artists, I've always said this, artists usually hide themselves in their art, whether they like to do it or not, whether they know it or not. We always put ourselves into the things that we create in some way or another, right? We code our own personal biases and our own personal quirks into the things that we do. So that's why the whole being anonymous thing is very difficult because it always kind of slips by. You may not be typing under your regular screen name, but you might be using the same. I always what is it that I do? I always capitalize my words, right? So
Yeah,
if
it's
you
a
know how to
pattern.
look, yeah, if you know how to look for patterns, it's easy to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
So
I
I
feel
feel
that too.
yeah, so I feel like to be truly anonymous, you have to put in the work, and it will work, right, if you do it. But then you'll quickly realize that it just doesn't matter. So at
And
that point, you can,
it doesn't pay off the work you have to do to go anonymous.
yeah,
And after you have to do like a maintenance,
maintenance,
and like you can't show yourself. You have to maintain that pattern you created. That pattern, like capitalize the word, space between the things,
right?
and this is exhausting.
It is
I
100%.
yeah, I think thank you for asking that question, Spoo. I think that's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
question to ask.
easy with all that truth, Boo. It's
Yeah.
a lot of philosophy in the morning, man.
But I think it's it's interesting to hear both of your takes on that. I think it's hard not to be. Yeah, we're different things to different people, and it's like if we even if we want to be ourselves completely, whether we're received the same as we think we're received is another question altogether, right? So it's like kind of crazy. But yeah, so
Yeah, you said like art. Every art carries a bit of the artist, right? Um, I would like to talk a little about my two projects, the Saibonari and Ubiet Quando, and I feel
yeah,
like
because you have
this,
three projects, right?
yeah, this
Fractal
project, like,
Vector.
that I announced myself, Fractal Vector. This
Yes.
was my first profile on hand, and
Yes.
this is where I have like most friends and most people following me. So I use more like a announcement channel than
Yeah.
my actual arts. I have this profile on Fractal Vector that's like a carnival of things. If you can put like on the screen the profile and
Yep.
scroll down, people will see that's like it's not completely random. It's not random at all for me because it's the time I'm going through. I make something and I post on Fractal Vector. It's
Yes.
not like an organized profile, but this is what the chronology of what I am feeling.
Oh man, that's cool. Okay, that's really rad because I thought about the process of like, oh man, it's really cool when you look at people's profiles now, you're gonna see the changes as their progress in their art and stuff like that. Because that's that's the good thing about the technology. Once it's on the internet, it's forever now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it
People can
changes.
see.
What a
Look at that silly one, that one that has a
with the
slap on the
butt.
butt. Yeah,
Yeah, just looking at that's
you
awesome.
can see that's just how I was feeling. That it was not like willing. I was not willing to sell out and wanting to get rich on that piece. I just wanted to be. I just wanted to be silly for a moment.
Yeah. Now I know that you cannot lie because clearly you like big butts. And if you like big butts, you
Yeah,
cannot lie.
yeah, definitely.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed with fractals for a very long time. I didn't know what they were, but I always tell this story. It's one of my favorite stories. When I was a little kid, there was a program called Turtle. Turtle basically allows you to draw, but you have to give it directions. You have to just tell it move forward, 10 pixels, turn right 90 degrees, move forward 10 pixels, turn right
Yeah.
90 degrees. move forward 10 pixels, turn on, and that's a square. And so you would have to give all these instructions. But you could also tell it to repeat. So when I was a little kid, I realized I'm like, oh man, I can give it like 5 or 6 different instructions. So it draws kind of like a little whatever. And then I'll just have it to repeat that forever. And I found out very quickly in older computers, and I'm talking about, I don't want to date myself too much, but we're talking about late 80s, early 90s. In those older computers, if you did that, the memory wasn't good enough. So eventually, after creating a fractal, it would crash the computer.
Yeah.
So by like the time
today, if you do something like very
right,
spooky,
you have to like do some heavy graphics to crash it, but it will crash eventually.
Or well, right? for me, all I have to do is open Blender, and then that's it.
All right.
If I open Blender, it's done. So that's you won't see much Blender from me.
Jeff, but could you scroll down a little bit? So
yes.
Until that generative genesis. Could you click?
Which one?
Yes. Jair.
Generative genesis. Gotcha. But I remember crashing those computers like that with the fractals, and I've been obsessed with fractals ever since.
It's just taking a second.
We are talking about this. There was a little period of my life that I wanted to do like a VJ and DJ presentation at the same time, and so I was like studying JavaScript, studying P5, and I got to a point where I connected my MIDI controller to Ableton and to processing at the same time, and could do like a visual presentation, like a visual and sound synthesis at the same time.
Whoa.
And this was when I got this finished, was right at the time I started on hand. So I was very sharp on P5, very, very like fresh on my mind,
Yeah.
So I did this code, and I'm just showing this because we were talking about like that turtle program.
Yeah.
And this was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah,
easily 20 years ago.
Yeah, this is the basis of what I did there, right? The same thing. You program the pixels to
that would have made my dad's computer explode. It would have fucking just exploded right there and then. But yeah, that's basically what I used to do. But this is I mean, similar to this, but this is obviously more active. It has a lot more depth to it. This is pretty rad.
It's 20 years later.
Unbelievable, man. I can't believe I'm still playing with the same thing. Because I'm gonna spend like a whole lot, like a good part of my day looking at this.
Click and drag and press the right and left keys to rotate.
Nice.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, there goes my day. I know what I'm doing. I'm getting high and playing with this.
Send me the best ones you can get, the best draws you can get.
For sure, man.
Okay. I think I would like to show something on my screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me.
I know, and this processing's not like it can be a lot to get your head around. Raider has helped me do some stuff in P5.js or P5, and it's so cool and so powerful, but it can be a lot at first, like to get your head around,
Yeah, it is. This is why I stopped, because my life went like on a spiral of things to do. And when I got to coding, it was like 2, 3, 4 days in a row where I was like,
we call that the clickety clackety. I'm gonna be clickety clackety all day.
Yeah. So I stopped because I couldn't do this, because I have like a whole dimension of things to solve outside of NFT space, outside of the computer. I have a mom, I have a niece, a sister, I have family, I have friends, I have to do other stuff too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You forget to eat and drink for about like 6 hours, and then you realize there's a real world out there. You're like, okay, fine, I'll come back from the jungle for a little bit.
Yeah.
But just for a little bit.
Exactly. Right. My people need me. I gotta get back.
So I would like to show first uh, the origin of the Fibonacci project.
Yes.
I think you guys will. This will blow your mind. I hope so.
Okay,
Let
this is
me
the
see.
cyber. Yeah, that's
Wait. I'm just gonna change it. Change
Yeah.
the screen.
Can you tell me a little bit about the name first?
Yeah, Fibonacci is a mix of psychedelics and Fibonacci sequence
Nice.
from the man Fibonacci, the man himself. And this project like took a start on the Fibonacci sequence, as you will watch in a few moments. And it talks about like the origin of humanity as if it were created by robots. I'm not calling them robots, I'm calling them cybos.
Yeah.
Cybos.
These guys are the cybos. There are different species
CYBO,
of
Cybo?
no PSYBO.
Yes, Cybo. PSY. Cybo, gotcha.
And it talks about like the origin of humanity, because I always thought like reality can be a computer simulation or other types of simulation, because what we consider intelligence and comprehensions is like something human. We think, and we think we are intelligent because we think, you know. But
Yeah.
there are other types of intelligence. If you look like if you look at the universe on a macro level, it's all very smart. It's very intelligent. It's alive.
Jeff is smiling because he knows how fucking happy I am right now that we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. I literally call this, instead of a body, I call it the cadavatar, because it's like a cadaver is dying. The moment you're born, you start dying, and then we
Yeah.
are like an avatar. That we're inside this fucking meat robot that we use to communicate with the
And it
world.
has a time span, right?
Yeah. Just like everything, it has a cycle of construction and a cycle of destruction, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's our battery life.
That
Battery life there.
Yeah, so this is like the essence of the project. This is what we
Okay.
are talking about, the essence of this. And I created this universe where the human body and the human behavior is studied and controlled by experiments. And these experiments are like not important, they are just being done. It's not like fundamental or anything. The cybers are just bored.
Right.
Okay, so let's hit the play.
All right.
Tell me if the audio is working.
Okay.
Is the audio playing?
Yeah, audio is working. Nice.
Oh man.
Nice. Wow.
Dude.
Nice. That was cool.
Yeah.
Well
this
done, sir.
this piece, I started to make it in May, and this was before I discovered like Mixamo. You know Mixamo?
No.
Mixamo is a software by Adobe. It's like on the browser.
Oh, okay.
You log in and you put like a 3D model on T-pose, and you position like some points, and it does an auto rig, and it has like a library of animations for you to use. It's very cool. And someone introduced me to this, and I was already doing like this structure, infinite,
Yeah.
and inside an infinite,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to animate characters. I still don't know. I use Mixamo, and this opened my mind for a lot of possibilities, because I started thinking like about scenes with, because when you use like entities, characters, things go get I feel like they get more deep look, when you put like
Yeah.
stuff moving, entities doing something. I think your piece gets a new deep level, a new level of deepness,
Yeah.
on 3D. I mean,
Yeah. It was neat to see that. Were there new characters and new stuff popping up? Because either that or I just noticed stuff at different times. Because
I was gonna ask the same question. So I don't know how long the loop is, but I was like, this is not just the same loop over and over. I felt like there was like changes, like little tiny changes through the
yeah,
loop.
there weren't.
Oh man, it was
You
messing
just
with my head the whole entire
it's
time.
it's because like things all happen. Each animation of each character, except the ones on top, they're mirrored. Each animation happens on its own time. Some animations are like 20 seconds. Some animation 20 seconds. I know 20 frames. Some animations are 30, and they start differently too. So every time you watch the loop again, your eyes land on something different, and so you're perceiving. There's a little detail that I don't know if you guys got, that I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if I can zoom in,
Please
but
tell me it's the little guy that's running around the taller one. There's something there.
no, it's
Damn
right
it.
here. You know that let me see if I can find
The right
a good
frame.
part. You know this thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
At some time you will see this green, and a little guy standing right here, and then he jumps down, and then the whole thing goes red, you know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play it again just so you can see it without the sound. There it goes. Oh,
All right.
and then when the screen goes there again, there he is.
Oh yeah.
And the whole sound at the beginning is like focused on this little guy. I don't know if this was a smart decision. I think I had to give him more focus if the song was about him, you know.
Yeah.
But let me just play this with the sound and look at the little guy with the sound.
Jump.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to give more focus to him, but this is a very complex structure, so you can't put like people anywhere because they have to appear on the same spot here and down below, and the camera can't get him like appearing out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah. You
So
have you have certain restrictions.
Yeah.
You have to
So-
play by.
This is your piece, and it reminds me of a couple of artists that have tried and successfully done things like this.
Yeah.
You're doing it in a brand new medium with a brand new technology, which makes it so much. But it makes me think a lot of like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of Oz. You know how like Pink Floyd matches with the Wizard of Oz, but they're like, oh, we didn't do it on purpose. Yeah, you did. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's just way too many coincidences, way too perfect.
Yeah,
Tool uses a lot of Fibonacci in their music. The band Tool, are you familiar with them?
Yeah, somebody said this to me when I started this project. I talked to somebody and I said, I wish I knew some music that used this. And people said the same thing. You know Tool?
Yeah, Tool.
And
uses
then I
a lot
went
of-
ahead and listened to it, but I didn't understand where it was used. You know?
I've had the
It's
same
so-
problem. I'm not musically driven, but I do have a friend of mine that is, and I would love to put you guys in contact. He actually has a friend from Brazil who they play guitar together. So there, which by the way, Jeff, you're now invited. They said that if I ever want to go to Brazil, we should definitely do it. Now we have like plenty of reasons to go visit down there.
That's right.
We know
You
now we
can
know more.
come by here, and you're most welcome at my house if you want.
Thank you. I wasn't trying to invite myself, but I figured that's where we were gonna go.
I live in Brasilia,
Beautiful.
Brasilia.
the capital.
Awesome. Hell
But
yeah.
I want to live here because I've been here my whole life. You know,
Yeah.
I lived just one year outside of my city, and I want to expand.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you ever want to come to Vegas, you let us know.
Well, I want to go to Vegas,
There
but
you go.
I'm not like a casino guy, or I don't have this dream to uh, see the movie Vegas. You know, I just
No.
want to know places.
Yep.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I like this guy. This guy and me, we're gonna get along.
So Fractal, so you've got these different projects, the Fibonacci, the Ubi et Quando, which we're gonna see a little bit more of shortly. But you mentioned wanting, right before the show, you were mentioning something about mental health and kind of like the difference between kind of like a finished piece of music versus a finished piece of visual art. And I was wondering if you could kind of touch on that a little bit, because I thought it was a really interesting point. And we had talked about wearing masks as artists or just as people, kind of like this pressure on like Twitter specifically to sell yourself. And
Yeah, and how it creates the situations for ourselves, and sometimes people don't even care, but we, like, people don't. Let me just recapitulate then.
yeah,
What we were saying about like wearing masks. Sometimes the mask is so heavy you don't even realize. No one cares about your on a bad level. No one cares about your true self or your mask self. They have the same importance for other people's for other people. If you are being yourself, you will find people who like you. You wearing a mask, you will find people who like your mask. But it's the
Oof.
same. It's the same importance they give to you on first impressions or on later on connections. But like I feel like people wear that mask so hard they don't realize they can use this as a sandbox. If you create something, you don't have to like create once per week. You don't have to create at that time just because that's the time it sells more. You don't have to participate in all events. You don't have to create because you must. You have to create because you feel like it. You have to feel what you're doing, or else I feel like you will be putting a pressure on yourself and not allowing you to actually let it go. You are creating another barrier between yourself and the artist self.
Right.
Because this
Yeah.
is stuff we have to mix too. Your artist is not exactly you. It's what you imagine of you.
Right. And it's important. I think you said it really well earlier too, where you were like, you know, that maybe music doesn't suffer from the same or not as much the same pressure because it takes a lot longer, or it generally you take longer to like finish a piece of music, and there's a sense of like it has to be to your liking and you have to feel like it's completed and then you can release it. It's more normal for a musician to take their time with a piece of music and maybe never finish it even. Whereas in the space of like the NFT space right now, there's a lot of pressure for visual artists to just like put stuff out, put stuff out, put stuff out. And what I got from what you said was that those visual artists should be taking more of the approach of that musician where, you know, you want to make a piece complete and to your liking, and putting these pressures on yourself and putting these major deadlines on yourself because, like you just said, I have to get this minted for an event. I have to get, I have to mint this by this time because it's going to sell. All of these pressures, or I haven't sold anything, I must not be making anything good. I have to change something. Like all of these external pressures seem to be a lot greater for the artists who are using visual art than they are for, say, a musician. And that can really mess with our mental health.
Yeah, and that's understandable too, because people are like living out of NFT.
Mm-hmm.
So if like you spend like 2 weeks without a sale, you already start like getting a little bit desperate. You
Right.
need the money and you can't make it with what you have right now. So you have this feeling, I have to post new stuff, I have to make new things, I have to post this now, even if it's not as good as I want it to be. And people
Right.
are and this is understandable. This is something we have to find a way together to deal with, and
Yeah.
to
I think this
get
is
the
the
community feeling more community.
Right.
I think this types of conversations are the way, because the whole point of what made this environment to me, what made this community great, is that Tesos was creating a place where you would see art for the sake of art and not art for the sake of profit. And so we already know that that exists in the real world. We know that out there people do art for profit, and that's fine. Don't bring that same mentality into the Tesos environment, because that's not what it was meant for. Yes, there is a like a profit capability, the ability to make profit off of this. But the idea was that you could, as an artist, finally put something and say, this is mine and mine alone, right? And then set that value and then just expose it to the world without it being lost. You put your art on Facebook, Facebook can use it for whatever they want. You'll see your music in in the background of a Hyundai commercial in about 2 years, 3 years, that type of stuff. That whole, like, it's okay to make a profit here, but it should we were creating a place where art was being done for the sake of art. I am putting myself out there, and we're all saying, wow, that is really good. That is not something that's being just shoved in my face. It's something that I say, that I sincerely came and looked for and found, and I identified with, and so I'm willing to give it that value. I think we should have these conversations that talk about that aspect that the Tezos ecosystem creates. They
Yeah.
are incredible artists, and right now there's an inflow of people that are saying, I just need to make money. Like you said, I just need to make money fast, and that's fine. But understand that you have an entire community that's very judgmental. That's very like,
Yeah.
okay, guys, we like you can't just
I-
colonize my shit. We're here in our
if you
space
are
and our
perceived
tribe.
if you are perceived as a person who just is desperate for money, you're doomed, basically.
Right.
It's a self-policing environment, and you should be very well aware of that. As a philosopher once said, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another important part of that conversation, and like the bigger conversation, is like it all comes back to that balance of, the focus right now is definitely on, making a living as an artist versus an artist who also makes a living as a bartender, or also makes a living doing construction, or neither. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you have been able to leave your job or leave your work behind that you used to do to pursue art full time, then alongside that, in the similar way as if you left your job to sell,
Whatever the passion is,
something on the street, where you're going out independently to do it, there are certain risks that come along with it, and certain pitfalls that you're going to come into, and trying to develop like a well-rounded approach where it's like, okay, how am I going to now, as an independent artist, I know that there's going to be times when I don't sell as much. How am I going to handle those situations when I'm selling all the time? How do I make sure that it's like not feast and famine? How do I balance it out? And I think, for freelancers and stuff, that's like something to bring into the conversation more, because maybe there are people who are just getting into it and who are like, I can finally leave my job, but they don't know anyone else who's a freelancer, or they don't know how to handle it. So it can be all very stressful. Real quick, and if Raider has a question for you, Fractal, asking, do you make a living from your art, or are you doing an offline job as well, like in the real world?
I'm in the current state. I'm living the feast and famine you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And because I never had money in my life, and I literally don't know how to manage it, so in my country, like $1,000 is like 5,000 reals, and 1,000 real is the minimum wage, so
Right.
Once some time ago, I woke up someday and I had posted a piece on Ubi and on Saibonari, and I woke up and I have like 4,000 real, like $800 in my account. And like I basically took a little to myself and gave it to my mom to manage the house bills and stuff. Took my friends to eat sushi, and the next day I woke up poor again,
Right.
and but from 3 months from now, I was picking up coins in my house to buy like cigarettes. And so
Yeah.
I don't know if I am making a living out of it, because I'm not making my accounting yet. But
Right.
I think if things continue to go this way, I will make a living out of it soon. But I don't plan to quit the other activities. you were asking me if I do like jobs outside the NFT space. I want to do them, but lately I have been feeling like this is going so right. I have to focus on this. It's not like
Sure.
I'm going to quit my job because I am a freelancer, but for example, I have a freelance due to the end of this month. I have to edit 15 videos, and they are about like 15 minutes long each one, and I have edited one so far because
Right.
every time I get on the computer, I start doing other stuff, NFT stuff, and
Yeah.
this is because I didn't found my balance yet. I like
Right.
I do awesome art, like no humble.
Yeah,
These pieces that are showing are sick, but I can't be making them all the time. I have to do other stuff too because this stuff will get me like will get me somewhere. I won't be just feast and famine. I
Right.
it, al-
doing this
it's
freelance. I will be organizing myself.
Right.
it all
Yeah, I
comes
think that's
back full
important.
circle. It all comes back for full circle if you think about it. Uh, Fractal was talking about the idea that you don't put pressure, so you're not just like putting out a quantity of work, you're putting out quality work. And I think that's going to help the environment. There will be people that need, that have projects that sell every week. Hey, here's a new thing, and that is fine. That is awesome. It's one creative process, but it's not the only creative process. And I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
if you have like an avatar project, sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
If you have an avatar project, you don't have to focus on the quality of the avatar. If it's like a shitpunks project, it's fine to do a shitpunks project. It's also fine, but you have
yeah,
to
it's
focus on other types of quality. Like if you are building a community
I
out of
think
your avatars, you have to focus on the quality of your community. If
I
you are
think the
building
variety is important. That
art
variety
with
is important. Yeah.
yeah, if you have the objective, you have to make the objective with quality, even though it's not the visual quality.
There might be many pizzerias, but there will always be, and everybody will claim that they have the best pizza in the area, right?
Yeah,
But eventually one of them will be found to be the pizzeria. Doesn't mean that you can't have multiple, just means that one of them is not telling the truth about being the best pizza in the area, and one of them is. And it's up to us to eat a lot of pizza so we can find out which
a
is
pizza
which.
with pineapple, the best
Yeah.
pizza.
And Hypneon in the chat says that would be the dream to be living uh, just off of the art, and says that they are a freelance designer, um, and they left a full-time position to become a freelance designer, but would prefer to only focus on art. But as a freelance designer, the whole feast and famine thing applies too. Having a couple of months in reserve is ideal. When it's not, like right now, it can be very, very stressful. So I think it's great, and I hope more people who are maybe used to freelancing, whether it's designing, freelance art, freelance. I mean, software developers. A lot of times, there's a lot of freelance work, video editing, like you said, that you're doing. Um, I hope there are more. I hope that like what you take from your journey, you can pass on to other people who are struggling, and Hypneon. I think that's a great bit of advice. Having a couple months of rent or of a little bit of savings when things are going really well, putting something aside as a reserve, like so
Yeah.
that the famine part isn't so low, like I think those are great things. Like I'm so glad that we that you brought this up, guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm being very very honest. I think because some people would say like, yeah, I'm investing, I'm doing things with my money just to look like an organized person, but I know artists are not like very organized, and people know that too. They don't have why to hide it. So
Right.
when I woke up with like this money, I told you, I called my friend. I said, let's travel, and I bought plane tickets to Bahia, and I rented a place. But this is also planning, you know. I will travel in November with NFT money, and I will
Nice.
come back without a penny, but I will be happy as a motherfucker.
Yeah,
This is my dream, you
we
know.
live for the
This is also
experience, man.
important.
That's
We
right.
live for the experience, and it's beautiful that it keeps you in a place.
This is sorry. This is great. This is great advice. I should have said some, but my mom is struggling with the bills, and I participate on the bills because I am a person and I live. So
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
pays for stuff. Yeah, so I am in a comfortable spot, and she was happy. She's happy that I'm going to travel too.
Yeah,
But the please, can you put on the Ubiet Quando profile?
absolutely.
This has to do with what I'm saying too. These bugs, I started this project like as a coincidence because I installed some plugins,
Yeah.
and I thought it looked like bugs, and I have worked with bugs before on a lab,
Yeah,
and this is why I started this. But I didn't know it was going to sell. I didn't know this was going to be liked. You know, I posted it, and the first sold out in like 20 minutes. And this was what I was talking about establishing deadlines for yourself,
yeah,
Yeah.
because I was thinking, hey, if I can do this every week, if I can make a sellout every week, then I will be able to help out at home and still save some money to do my things. You know, this was the
right,
mind I was. I didn't consider like the wave that goes through the projects. So I quit school.
right.
I quit college. You know, I was getting a technical degree. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's like a 2 year university.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was getting a degree on graphic design, and I quit the last semester because wasn't I couldn't handle like doing NFTs and uh, being at the university. But I'm not the person who's going to say like, oh, quit college, you know.
Right.
And in retrospect, for me, it was a great decision because I can always go back next year or in 2 years or finish sometime, you know.
Yeah.
But I think people should like think very deeply before they make these kinds of decisions. Like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this so I can just do this. You have to think of all the possibilities, think of all the plans, plan A, plan B. You can't just dive right in, you know, without your safety. I mean,
Yeah,
I live with my mom. She's my safety, but I don't want this to be eternal. I know this is heavy for her. This is why I'm doing this mostly. Uh, it's not just for the art. I just wanna move up in my life, you know.
yeah,
And I think this has to do with people too, with the people you know, the people you're connected, the people who care about you, and the people you care about. This this is something that builds up into a great life, in my opinion, because you never run out of ideas, and you never run out of people to share these ideas and to share them back to you. You know,
yeah,
and to me, um, the ideas are I don't know how to say this. It's fucking amazing to think and to know the tool, you know, to manage to work on the tool and get out of your head what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And when I talk with you guys and Ryder on the chat, I didn't even know Ryder used P5. You know, now we have something more to talk about, and he's gonna
That's
teach me
awesome.
stuff, and I'm gonna teach him stuff if he doesn't know it already.
absolutely. That's the importance of community, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And like if Ryder ever comes to me, Ryder, I know him like for a little, like 2 months I think, or less, or a
Uh-huh.
little bit more. But if he ever comes up to me and say, hey, would you lend me $50? I'm going through something, I'm struggling, I have to eat today, I have to pay for a medical bill. I wouldn't think 2 times if I had the money. It's not about the money for me. It's about like creating stability and creating it with the people around me, because being alone sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the tribe keeps growing here at the tezos-artcast.
That's right.
Digital tribe keeps going.
And I mean, and it's cool too, because a lot of the artists in this space and a lot of the people in this space are, involved in different areas, like are artists and musicians, or musicians and graphic designers, or, all kinds of things, or accountants and artists, or, and with your music, you've got a lot of different styles of music. What were some of like your influences growing up? I know you said that you had that like limited piano growing up and a lot of acoustic instruments. Are there like some major influences that you could point out where you're like, oh, like this, and this band or this person was very influential for me in my growth, or this, like maybe just like touching on a couple?
Yeah, let me just start by saying like my biggest influence in music is my dad,
Oh,
because
okay.
he was a DJ in the 70s and the 80s, and he
Nice.
knows like a lot about music. Like he doesn't like electronic, but he likes rock, samba, Brazilian music. He likes a lot, but he knows like a lot of soul, funk, reggae, anything you can name that was at its peak at the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
You will know, and the 90s too, because he studied later. But he passed on to me this feeling with music that I carried, that is like music is to be enjoyed. It's not to be judged. If you don't enjoy a music, just go to other room, put headphones, do other, just you don't need to judge music. And this is why I started my production. I started like without trying to get any reference, without trying to reach any style. I just started making stuff and seeing how it sounded, and changing to my likings at that day.
Yeah.
I've always been a person who makes a project and tries to finish in one day, but like the structure, before I get onto the more technical part. I i rush the structure because my feelings are like throwing stuff at the program, and that.
Right. Throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, but I think my biggest influence in music would be the Prodigy, the band The
Okay.
Nice.
Prodigy. But it has a lot of twists in it, because I think the genres that I will show today don't have a lot of that vibe. But I have like tons and tons of projects, and in each style, I feel like I have a big reference. In reggae is Ika Mouse.
Okay.
In electronic is electronic. I don't have a clear reference, because I'm not very used to listening to electronic.
Yeah.
I produce electronic more for like from the little I've heard and from my head.
Right. Yeah.
And this is my influence. I think I have much of that Berlin vibe, that underground Berlin vibe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know. When I started like making music for real, I spent years without any instrument after that piano,
Yeah.
and then I started making bass lessons and some piano lessons too, but like just for a few months, and then I took on to myself to learn at that time I didn't know I could learn so much from YouTube, you know. So I was like just making stuff up and trying and seeing how was more comfortable for my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not like very self-taught. Everything I know about 3D, about programs, I learned on the internet. But about feeling the music, that you can't learn this. You have to literally feel the music.
Yep. Yep. I hear that.
And yeah, that's it. Should we play the set?
Yeah, let's do it. You guys, let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat or whatnot. We're gonna put this mix on. So I put it on in the background for you. We have a little. There's not going to be visuals for it, but up here in the corner of the screen, where my mouse is bouncing, that is the album cover art to this mix that Fractal made for this DJ set. And correct me if I'm wrong. This is all different kinds of music that you've made, right?
Yeah, not all, like some.
Okay,
but it's mostly electronic and psychedelic rock.
Got it. Okay, and then the cover art you did as well.
Yeah.
And we're gonna work on. You're working on minting this actually to give away to our viewers, correct?
Yeah. Just awesome. Let Jeff know on the tweet comments with your wallet if you're a viewer. And once I can mint it, he will send me the list and I will send it to all of you.
Awesome.
Yes. So yeah, just leave your address in the chat, and we'll make sure to get that over to you once it's minted. But yeah, it's just going to be the audio from here out, and then we'll wrap things up and say goodbye at the end. But feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and we'll just be hanging out, and we're going to let the music play. And yeah, I think that's about it, huh?
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I don't know if we are going to wrap things up together in the end, but I would like to thank you for calling me. This was very cool. I was very nervous at first because I didn't know like what the vibe was going to be. Was going to be something more formal, you know. I never have seen your faces before too.
Absolutely, yeah. No,
it's very nice to meet you guys.
This was a lot of fun. No, absolutely.
Awesome. Good times.
So the set's about 40 minutes. We're going to let it play, and we'll be in the chat hanging out. And yeah, other than that, we won't be able to do kind of like our exploration and while the music's playing, just because of some of the technical limitations of StreamYard. But we'll be in the chat. So let's chat, let's talk, throw it in the background, whatever you got to do. But I'm stoked to hear this. So
yeah. Good times.
And just a little commentary. I compiled this today, so I don't know how it actually sounds because I was finished like 10 minutes before I came to test the audio. But I know that the volumes are like equal.
No worries. We'll at the very least. I mean, I love lo-fi. I love lo-fi hip hop. I love it all. So even if this is a little bit lo-fi on the stream, I don't think it'll be a problem. I think it's all good. We heard a little taste of it, and it sounded good to me.
Just good.
Okay.
All right. Will you make sure and bring the volume down to about half if it's not already?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. Here we go. And in the chat, if it is too low, let us know as well, and we'll have Fractal turn it up a little bit. But half seemed about right on our end. So yeah, here we go. And what's this mix called?
Stomach.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
The matrix is simple. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You are asleep. Take the blue pill. Wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. You are asleep. All I'm offering is the truth.
don't call them UFOs, they call them unidentified aerial
now where the U.S. government and hopefully other governments are looking at this topic seriously.
To investigate UFO sightings, because we're not alone in the universe of extraterrestrial life and objects, not just a science fiction idea, but actually existing.
And the fact that we live in a world now where the U.S. government and hopefully other governments are looking at this topic seriously.
To investigate UFO sightings, because we're not alone in the universe of extraterrestrial life and objects, not just a science fiction idea, but
videos to show UFOs flying through the air are real. Fala, papai! Caralho, moleque, tu é massa, mano. Eu gosto de tudo, de ideia. Porra, massa que tu lembrou aí, mano. Então, moleque, eu gosto. Eu tô meio de baixa, tá ligado? De fumo, porque mês passado eu tava meio pesado, tá ligado? Assim. Eu resolvi dar um tempo, sabe? Pra dar uma abaixada na poeira, tá ligado? Esses bagulho assim eu sinto cabuloso. Tô bem, mano, graças a Deus, tá tudo certo. E, mano, eu tenho uns packs aqui pra fumar, mano. Tenho, tipo assim, uns não, tem vários, né? Daquele jeitão. Se tu estiver de bobeira, eu colo aí toda hora.
お前はもう死んでいる。お前はもう死んでいる。何？死んでいる。
Yo, let me just. Yo, I think you're muted.
There we go. Am I back?
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. That was great. And yeah,
I just wanna say something.
Yeah.
I hear my feedback.
I can hear it. You can hear your feedback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. It's probably my audio, so I'll sign out here.
Yeah, I just want to say like about this compiled mix I made. I have like over 300 music. How do I say this? Like sparse to the computer. I have to find them one by one. And since the time was short, I mostly kept on electronics. But today, as of today, I do more of the first songs that were played. Like they were more soul and R&B and like psychedelic rock. But this mix will be available for you guys, and I'm gonna take my time and correct a few things before releasing to you. to sound of like all smooth, because I kept moving the volumes, and I will keep it smooth for you all. Thank you so much for joining me and for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I hope you can hear me okay. But appreciate you, and keep in touch, and we'll get that stuff out to our viewers. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming on and hanging out, dude.
Have a great one, everyone who stayed. Thank you.
All right. Peace, and thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this episode of tezos-artcast, and look forward to seeing you next week when we've got Rose Jackson is going to be coming on the show. And yeah, so we're really excited to have her and get to talk about her photography and felt work and some other good stuff. So I look forward to sharing that with you guys as well and meeting her. So we will see you next week. Have a great week. Hopefully your week goes great. And if it doesn't, just remember, all things are impermanent. So it'll all pass. This too will pass, and all that stuff. I know, easier said than done, but you know, we're all going through it. So keep your heads up, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.